Okay, so there's that going on. Okay, so that's good. Let me go here. I'm trying to look all fancy and like all that stuff, but I'm trying to find my stream here. All right, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Come on, you. Come on. What I'm trying to do is, there we go. I'm trying to get people to come watch it. So what I'm doing, aha, done. That way I don't have to look at the echo here. Hold on, going live. We're almost there. I just got to get this is the last thing, and basically I'm just advertising like crazy here.
Perfect.
And once that's done, although this will all be in the official live stream so people can actually see it. If you want to come see me make an ass of myself, that's all good. Hey guys, I know you're watching me listen to the stream here. All right. I've tweeted. I face cracked. Right. And let's do this right. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream. Right. I am Joshua Pantelleresco, host of Just Joshing. I'm with the one and only Kathleen Sweeney of Bookbrush. How you doing tonight, Kathleen?
Wonderful. Thanks for having me.
All right. So Kathleen has a really unique product called Bookbrush. So I could talk about I'll talk about my own experiences within a second, but I'll give her the wonderful introduction here. So Kathleen, talk about your product.
All right. So we have created a design tool specifically for authors so that you can create your own marketing images, all things social media, add video effects, create those cool instant mock-ups that people have, and even design your own book cover easily yourself and save yourself time and money using our tools.
Yes. Because I decided I was going to try to learn GIMP. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't learn GIMP, but your program is much simpler. And so real quick, like where did you come up? Like this was your idea initially?
I can't quite claim it, but I'm one of the first 3 people to work on it. So we have 2 co-founders and me. I'm kind of the face of Bookbrush. I'm the fun one. And, so we have the developer and the people who make decisions behind the scenes, but I do the webinars and the fun stuff. And I'm just passionate about helping authors use our tools. So, there's a lot of design tools out there and they're great, but they're not made for authors. So that's what makes Bookbrush pretty cool when you're in that author niche.
All right. So why don't we do a fun example? Let's say we wanted to make an ad. How would we go about doing that?
So you'll go, and I can even do some screen sharing if we want to, but we have it all set up for you. We have community templates. So let's say you're not creative because authors are good at writing and sometimes not good at that marketing side of things. So we have a graphic designer who puts together these great templates for all different kinds of platforms. So if it's the Amazon ads, Facebook ads, BookBub, Pinterest, Instagram, and even some interesting things like who doesn't need a Zoom background right now because we're all virtual. So those kinds of things. So you have templates for all that. You put your book covers in. You can change the wording if you want to, and then just simply download it as a PNG or a JPEG and upload it directly to social media.
Nice. So, okay, I gotta ask this then before we get into some more Bookbrush questions. So where does your fascination with helping authors comes from? Are you an author yourself? You are the fun one, as you said. So
my contribution is the reading. So I like to read. I set myself a goal to read 100 books this year, which I was on pace to do up until COVID hit. And, I think for a lot of people, it gave them more time to read. But my whole family was home all the time, and it gave me a little less time to read. So I will say I just finished book number 70 yesterday. So I'm probably not going to hit that 100, but I'm getting there. So I think it's because I love reading. I won the reading contest in first grade, and from there I just had a love of
that's awesome. Yeah, okay. We'll get into that. So okay, so that led to like creating this, like wanting to help just authors in general with everything. Then pretty much.
The marketing side of things. So, you know, I'm not doing the editing, or we don't help with the manuscript side of it, but the marketing stuff and the book cover design, those kind of things. And I love how versatile BookBrush is. And so I like showing authors how they can use the tools.
All right. So why don't you do a fun little sample of something like that? Like, let's do an ad, like a very basic ad. Do you have any templates that you can just show people?
Yeah. Do you want me to do screen sharing?
Yeah, exclude the screen sharing.
Okay, let's see what we get here. Let's see. I'm going to give it a go here.
All right.
So do you see this? Do you see the how to get started?
I did. I added to the stream right now so people can see it. Yes.
Okay, so this is the main screen on BookBrush where you'll come in and when you get started. So you can go to Custom Creator at the top. It's the first thing we built. It has a bit of a tutorial. I'm going to take the shortcut way. So I'm going to head over to the right-hand side to Tools and go to Custom Creator. And we'll jump in. It's a little slow sometimes when you're streaming live. Now you'll see in here on the left, you have different ad sizes to choose from. So if you're going to build your own, there's the different icons for Facebook. And for example, if you click on Facebook, you'll see these different sizes in here. In the dimensions or in pixels, and then all the other popular icons. I'm going to do a community template like I was talking about. So you don't have to be creative at all. You'll go to templates on the left, community templates, and we'll team up together. So you want to pick the genre for me?
We'll go with romance. Let's have some fun.
And you could even do a double filter. So if you're watching it, you can do romance and fantasy and see both if you are kind of in that niche. But you can do romance. And then you can, when you scroll down, you can choose a platform. And this is where I was saying it goes all the way from Facebook all the way down to things like postcards and bookmarks. But you'll see these different ones here. These are sample ones, and they're completely editable. So let's just grab this first one in case you're ready to do some Black Friday marketing. So this is going to pop in here where it says your book cover goes here. You'll click, swap covers at the top, and then the book covers that you've already added in are here for you to just click on. So if you haven't done that yet, you can add them there. You only have to add them one time. It's going to pop it in here for you.
All right.
And there you go. So you could download right here. So you could click download and do a PNG or JPEG, but you can change anything you want to in here. So you can click on the text boxes and change the words themselves, the font, the color, anything like maybe this all titles 30% off. That's not doing it for you. You can just take the garbage can, get that out of there, and you're set. And then you download and you're good.
Yeah. Very simple, very straightforward, to the point. I really dig when I did it for my own book cover. It's actually naturally pretty intuitive. Some of the other design programs aren't necessarily intuitive by design. You can do great things with them, but it's not necessarily with here. Here it's just relatively point and click. It's relatively drop down, very drop down based menus here. It's like, okay, you want this, go this. That's I think is the big advantage to it.
And we get that a lot. Folks tell us, there's not a steep learning curve. So it may take you, a few minutes, get in there, kind of get your bearings. But quickly, within minutes, really, you can be creating some eye-catching ads and downloading them, and you're ready to go.
Yeah, which is really, really cool. Let's see. Let's do another one, for example. Let's say you wanted to do let's just do a cover, like a real simple cover. Like
okay.
How would you do it?
All right. So we were just in the custom creator. We're going to move to, and this is a bit of a tongue twister. It seems like it's the same thing, but it's not. We're going to go to the cover creator. So I'm going to go to the top to tools, and we will go down to cover creator. So it says I'm leaving. I'm just switching to another tool in here. And again, you can create it totally from scratch, and that is not hard to do, but I'm going to show you the templates because it's a great way to just kind of build off of what our graphic designer put together. So you'll go to templates, and you'll go to community templates, and all of these cool choices are in here. So we have, if you click on type, ebook, print, and audio, and you can completely edit what's in here. You can choose genre too. You want to pick?
We'll go mystery.
Okay. So let's pick, we'll just grab one here. The woman, it says the woman upstairs. So I'm going to click on this and it gives you a nice starting point. It shows you some things that are kind of maybe common in the industry so that you're off on the right foot. And then you'll just click on each thing. So for example, author name, and I'm so not going to spell your last name. So you're just Joshua for this one.
We'll just go Joshua.
Yeah. So you could change that, but you can switch everything around. So you can move these up. You can have your name at the bottom. I'm going to double click on the font and show you something cool. We have 1,000 fonts. So if you click add more fonts, you can choose from 1,000 different fonts in here. I am drawn to display and handwritten. I love these. And so if you see ones that you like, you can go through and just add them to your list. You'll put a check mark next to that. This is where you can upload your own custom font too, but you don't need to do that. So we'll go through here. I just changed it to the ones that we just added. So you can personalize it that way. You can move the quote. You could change it. You can take it out. Those stars can move. And then you could even take the background completely out and change it to something else. So you can see what's outside the area. You can move it around.
You play with bleeds. Yay.
All kinds of cool things like that. And then you would download. So I might scooch this up. But by the time you put in your own title, your own name, your own font, all of your own choices, this is not going to look like anybody else's cover. But it didn't take you very long. It's eye-catching, and you were able to do it yourself. Save yourself time and money.
Yes, I see. Okay, so we've done ad, we've done that. So what are the other major, like from a marketing standpoint, what's something else that authors should be making with
So our favorite feature, I have to show you our favorite feature are the instant mockups. So we will go to Tools and Instant Mockups. We have over 800 of these, and these are those real life images that you just drop your book in here. So I'm going to scroll through some of these examples, and I'm going to do show all so you can see. You can filter, for example, just square, horizontal, vertical. But if you just look at how awesome these images are, and this is where people get those kind of things. So you don't have to brew your own cup of tea and set it up and get your iPad organized and take pictures. You just drop your book cover in here. So let's grab a few here. I'm just going to click. We'll check mark a few of these or kind of highlight them. I'm going to pick a book over here in step 1. We'll grab a book cover. And I'm going to make my screen a bit smaller because I can't see. There we go. I need to convert now, but it was hiding in my sharing. These, I didn't fire up too many because they do take about 4 seconds per image to download. And then they're going to be a zip file, so we will grab them. But I can't wait to show you these. This is why it's our most popular feature. I'm going to extract all. And then we'll take a look. I'll just arrow through them. But these are sharp looking, ready to post right to social media for you. Or you can pull them into that first tool we were in, and you can add a text box or, anything if you want to add those stars or now available sale dates, things like that, you can, but you don't have to. So those are the instant mockups, and there are over 800 of those to choose from in here. All right. So most popular tool.
I can see it. No, I've been dying to play with it. I unfortunately, like I said, I've been doing this creative life stuff through this year. So it's like, I'm not quite ready to do ads yet, but when I do, this is definitely the way I'm going to do it. It's quick and easy, and I can put them in the right places. And so, is this the first version of the program? It's like, or has it been a constant work in progress?
So kind of both. The first thing we added or that we built was the custom creator, the first tool we were in. Then we've added tools along the way. Instant Mockups just celebrated their first birthday in July, so we've had them for over a year, but we do add extra images each month, so it's growing. And we add new community templates in both the cover creator and the custom creator monthly. So it's always going through different changes. And we're a small business, so if you like to support a small business with big dreams, we're listening to what authors tell us they would like to see. So always looking at what we can add.
Ah, okay. So there won't be a book brush 2.0 or 2.1. It just the basic template is just going to become this giant monster that you can do all the things with it.
Keep adding, yes. So when we looked at tools originally, there were not all these tools, and then over time we added these instant mockups, and then we added a box set creator, and then the cover creator just came along last February because authors were telling us we love how easy these tools are to use. We want to be able to make our own covers too.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like certain illustrated. I like using illustrators because it does pop. But I mean, there's something to be said. Sometimes sometimes a simple cover is all you really need, right? Depending on the style of story you're telling too. So I mean,
and that's why we have so many community templates, because we want you to find something that you can tweak and personalize, but yet you're still really happy with it. And it's eye catching. Sometimes if you start from scratch, you may not know, so there's a benefit to having a designer, but we have some that a designer put in there for you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so
I can stop the screen sharing. Do you want me to head back out?
I'll remove this. I can do that. Well, okay. Done. So let's hit some obvious questions. So I guess then you guys update on a fairly regular basis. Then I'm assuming, just based on what you're telling me, like it's like this is something that's going to constantly evolve as time goes on.
Yep. Yes. Yeah. And we have, longer term plans. So one of the things that's coming up, but it probably won't be till first quarter next year, are book trailers, which are going to be pretty cool. Right now we have video effects. So you can add a video effect to your ad and download it as an MP4. And, that's a great way to catch a reader's eye. Like motion is what's going to catch a reader's eye. You can be that ad that stands out because you have some twinkling or some motion in there. And then book trailers will really take it up to the next level.
So book trailers are next. So the master goal then is book brushes everywhere for all the things author. That's pretty much the master. That's the big dream.
On the art side, not on the writing side.
No, marketing side. You're an all-purpose marketing tool, marketing design tool is basically what you guys are. And that there's a very important niche because authors generally are terrified of advertising.
It's a necessary evil. So, you're good at writing, but you have to market those books, and marketing doesn't necessarily come naturally because your focus and your passion is writing, not this marketing business. All
right. Fair enough. Well, from my end, ladies and gentlemen, I'll just say this from my end. It's definitely worth the price you pay for it. It's a yearly fee. Basically, you get to use it for a year, and then every year you renew. And the price is very reasonable. It's worth the investment, especially if you're someone like me who stick figures will results on command. You probably would be the person looking at it. But also, there's some great templates here. Actually, here's a good, legit, interesting question. Since you guys are working completely on the marketing end, do you guys consult at all?
No, we have webinars that focus on one tool at a time. So it's not really consulting, but if people have questions, it's not really on their specific ad, I guess. It's more in general, like if I wanted this kind of interesting fade, how would I get it in there? And once you get to know me, you'll know I don't like to take no for an answer. So I want to find a way that we can make it work in there. Think outside of the box, if you will. So maybe if it doesn't, there's not an obvious way to make this fade or whatever it is you want. Maybe you can add this stamp, put a blur on it, and guess what? It looks like just like what you wanted. You had to think of a way to get there.
Gotcha. All right. So I think this was a really good demonstration of the product so far. So awesome to know that. So let's do a quick little, big fun giant plug for book brush, and then let's get into the heart and soul of you. Are you ready?
All right.
All right, let's do the book brush pitch here for everybody. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get brush, why should I use book brush?
as an author, it's going to have, we have over 90 3D book templates. So when you saw that community template with one book in there, you could swap that out for 90 different versions of, there's e-readers that face different directions, cover reveal, really awesome stuff. You can easily switch one ad that you design and tweak it from Facebook to Pinterest to Twitter without taking much time, because you take those same elements that you have, just rearrange them in that space and download to the next iteration. So quickly you've covered all the platforms with one version of the ad. You just resize it for the pixels that you need.
Which is really, really, really cool. All right. So I think we did a really good demonstration there. What do you think, Kathleen?
I love showing people how to use the tools. So yeah, I'm down.
Okay, down. So are you ready?
Okay. Are we in the ask me anything mode?
Well, I'm going to ask this before we start. Did you actually listen to any of my podcasts?
So I will admit no. So maybe I should be scared, huh?
A little bit. I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
So here's the first question I generally ask people. Are you ready?
Okay.
If anything incriminating you'd like to say, make it good.
Anything incriminating?
Yeah,
oh man, I'm kind of boring. I don't.
You called yourself the fun one. So
Well, have you met the other two?
I haven't met the other two, so I don't know what the standard is. I see. If you're the fun one, it's like, okay, you gotta have some good stories somewhere. Also, I always tend to ask that. It's like the two questions I ask, ladies and gentlemen, whether it's the one off the air, I always ask to say something funny, which I did get her to save, and dad joker. But anyways, that's another thing altogether. But the other one is always that one, because honestly, number one, we are on the air, so if you got a good story, you might as well tell the good story. And number two, it usually makes people laugh. And that's what I'm going for there. So
perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have anything too incriminating. I'm not maybe I'm not as fun as I thought I was.
Maybe you're not as fun as okay. Kathleen, not quite as fun, Sweeney. Okay, it doesn't quite have the same ring as the fun one, but we'll live with that. So how you doing this evening?
Good.
Yeah. So besides putting up with me, what have you been doing?
I'll tell you what. I have 3 boys, and they were the home for 228 days. The way that e-learning is working here, and they have just started to go back hybrid learning. So what I've been doing is just trying to live in the sea of boys around my house.
Oh man, so you're gonna love this story. My grandmother ended up raising her brothers, her sons, and I'm like her sixth. I was like her 6th kid. So it was like by the time it got to me, it was like I couldn't get away with squat, because I mean there are just some things boys just universally do. And since you've had 3, how old are they?
It's always, I usually have to ask them. Like, I'm like, how old are you? I'm pretty sure right now they're 13, 12, and 7.
So they're all doing relatively the same stuff. The 7-year-old is the one I feel a little sorry for, because he had 2 brothers kind of lead the way. So now you're like, I'm watching you. I know what you're up to. And he's like,
I think we get softer and more lenient as you go along. Like, okay, that's fine. You wanted to have Reese's peanut butter cups for breakfast. That's probably fine. I wouldn't have gone for that before.
Yeah. Well, pandemics do put things in perspective. It's like, really, if you want to have ice cream for breakfast, go nuts. Life's too short. I mean, there's
calcium in that. That's kind of dairy. I think I would go for that.
Yeah, well, who doesn't like ice cream for breakfast? And if you are one of those, and ladies and gentlemen, anyone wants to say otherwise, I wouldn't believe you. Not even a little bit. Like, not even a little bit. But what I was really curious about is, so you won a reading contest, and you've been like a nonstop voracious reader pretty much ever since, right?
True.
So what was the book that got you hooked? Everybody's got one. So what was yours?
Oh, I have so many favorites. I will tell you, I always say that the book is better than the movie. And some of the ones that really stick with you, like The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, that was a great book. Takes you a little bit to get into it, but then I whipped through the series. As a younger person, I think Anne of Green Gables sucked me in. And that's dry, but then you get into it and it just has so much to offer. As far as the first grade reading contest, those would have been pretty simple. So I don't know if those. I'm also just competitive, so I probably just wanted to win.
You just want to win?
Yeah.
Okay. So everything you were competitive with everything. Like, were you like an athletic kid, or were you just like where you were the really smart one?
I was valedictorian in my high school, so I'll say I was kind of the smart one. But it was a small school, so everyone had to do all the things. Like you had to play sports and do the academics because there just weren't that many kids. So I played volleyball and softball.
Pretty good.
Yeah, our team was fine. I was middle of the road. I'm not getting injured all the time. I did fine.
Yeah. Okay. Now you remind me of a friend of mine. She always gets hurt playing baseball. It's like, how do you do that? It's baseball, but it's a thing apparently. So I mean,
As I get older, I'm getting clumsier, I think.
Oh, okay. I won't ask how old you are. I don't want to get throat punched. So
no, that's a terrible question, and well, I'm not going to ask you how old you think I am either.
You know what? I'm not gonna see. I'm a wise man. I'm not gonna answer that question because it's like, again, I know you. I don't know you well enough. And you might throat punch me, and it's like, it's like, how do you get throat punched? I asked the woman how old she was. Oh,
yeah, especially virtually. That's really a feat.
Yeah. If anyone would find a way, right? It's just,
right.
Like that's how it. Like you can ask more. The thing about being virtual is you can ask more questions, but I've always had this tendency to just to be myself on social media. If I'm gonna be an asshole on social media, I'd be that kind of asshole in public. It might not be right, but you know what? At least it's honest, right? So
be true to you, yeah.
Yeah, exactly, totally. Like that's totally how it goes. But where I was going with that is, it seems to me like reading has been a major influence in your life, and there had to have been like that one moment where it's like, pop, I'm in, I'm hooked. Because yeah, you're competitive. I could see it. You're driven, definitely. But once you win, give me, yeah, of course. Give me a second. Quiet, magic phone. But anyways, once you do it, once you go for it like that, right? Once you win, right? You usually lose interest. I have the prize. I have the trophy. Now it's about what's next.
I think for reading, though, it's just that every book has something new to offer, and it's just like a fun way to just stretch your mind. I think that's why I like it so much, and every book is different.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, everybody brings something to the table that's really, really unique. And I've had many authors on my show, and one of the things we just talk about is that whole concept of, you know what, there's this really unique show, like this unique, like we hallucinate like this world whenever we read a book, and when we do that, it's also uniquely ours. Like your imagination of Anne of Green Gables would be very different than mine.
Very true,
right? And I think that's such a cool thing. Like a reader gets their own take out of the story as much as the author does writing it. It's like what the author brings to the table is the unique, and what the reader takes from it is totally from themselves. And it's a really neat way of learning empathy. Does that make sense?
Yes, I think so. And when you talk about people who have their favorite books or what made an impact, some people say they read them over and over. I don't think I've ever read a book a second time because I always want to read something new and explore something new.
It works both ways. Like the thing is, when you read a book a second time, you do pick on things you didn't catch the first time.
True.
There are some books that are worth the rereads. For me, it's the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. I reread it a few times. It's like, oh gosh, I picked up all these little things.
Really? So it made a lot of things clicked.
Oh yeah, well, it's just you. I think the first time we read something, that like emotional connection experience is truly unique to the first book. But when you read, with that first read through, is that unique connection. I think that's why I'm not going to try to tear him down too much, because he actually did some really good stuff in the beginning of his career with Terry Goodkind. Wizard's First Rule is an amazing emotional roller coaster of a journey. Faith of the Fallen, not so much, right? And that's just that. And the reason being is, while the nuts and the bolts of Wizard's First Rule hold up exceptionally well, especially for a first book, that's about as strong as you can get for a debut novel. It's incredible how much work that was put into that book. But when you read the other books that follow it, like when you read the other, like once you get past, I think, the fourth book, you're not covering any new ground anymore. So the same nuts and bolts that drew you into the book draw you away from the book, right? And this is me speaking strictly from a craft perspective here. And I said, you're not much. Have you ever tried to write? I should ask that before I continue.
No, I don't think. I think I just enjoy the reading part so much. I never wanted to tackle. I never tried either.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Hey, listen, if you love what you do, there's no crime in it. If you want to and you've never done it, then you should try it once.
I think they say everybody has a story to tell. I'm sure I have stories, but my passion is not. That's not where I'm driven. Like if I had to choose reading or writing, oh man, I would just devour reading a book.
Yeah, so I get that, and also strictly speaking, just you have 3 boys. You have adventures every single day.
And really, what I should write if I was going to was just humorous anecdotes about like you can't even make this stuff up. Like we didn't have a pet. And I thought I saw a wood chip upstairs. And so I picked it up and I'm like, guys, how is there a piece of poop on our floor in the hallway? We don't have a pet. Not one person knows anything about how it got there. How did that happen? No one knows. That's 3 boys of just a random piece of poop in the middle of the hallway. We had to buy a new couch once because someone, and no one knows how this happened, must have tipped over a glass of milk that drained into the couch, didn't know, and then the whole house, like I came home and our couch was on the front porch, and my husband's like, we're buying a new couch. And I even thought, I'm sure we could salvage this. Like on the phone, I thought, we're not buying a new couch. Oh my gosh, it was awful. You couldn't even breathe in there.
Yeah.
And no one knew how that happened.
Of course they didn't.
No,
absolutely not. Totally innocent. Totally.
Yeah, life's just a little adventure. I say my hobbies are reading and turning socks right side out because that seems to be something they're not capable of doing.
Well, they're going to win that battle inevitably. You're going to be like, you know what? Screw it. You want it? You want your socks this way? I'm not like.
Summer was nice because no one's wearing socks, so that part is good.
But yeah, you're in wintertime now, so.
Yeah.
Whereabouts are you, if you don't mind my asking?
In the U.S., in Illinois, right in the center. Central Illinois, and Illinois is in the center of the U.S.
So you're right by a lake, and I know exactly where you are. You are just below the really, really bad snows of Wisconsin. You still get it. Every once in a while, it's really bad, but you don't get it as bad as, say, Green Bay or,
Right. Wisconsin is about 3 hours or so. I'd say we're about 3 hours away from. There's a bunch of Wisconsin is the water park capital of the U.S., if not the world, at least of the U.S. And so we would, back when you could go places, we would go to the indoor water parks in Wisconsin. I think it's about 3.5 hours to get there to that area.
I definitely have an idea of whereabouts in Illinois you are now, but that's all right. That's cool. Yeah. Well, see, I used to. So once upon a time, when my dad was a truck driver, I would go with him on weekends every so often. So a couple trips would go in through Chicago. So so I know a little bit of Illinois. We'd go all the way to Wisconsin.
Yeah, that's a big trip.
Yeah, from London, Ontario to.
So how many hours is that?
That's about. Well, it's about 6.5 hours, 8.5 hours. I learned a bunch of little things. I was better at directions than Dad was at 7. I was better at it. By the time I was 8 years old, I could literally get out. There's not really any city I can't get out of on my own, except for maybe Edmonton, Alberta. Edmonton's weird. That's all I'm going to say about Edmonton. Is a weirdly designed. I've only been lost in 2 places in my life. Once is out in Toronto, where the 401 comes like 20 highways, and the other one is Edmonton, just how Edmonton's just built.
So are you a paper map person? Like you like to unfold the whole map?
Yeah, once upon a time, yeah. I used to that used to be my thing when I was a little kid. I used to love maps. I used to take playing cards and design highways. I mean, I was that like imaginary kid, right? That was
awesome.
Because I would go through I'd see all these different highways and designs from all over the place. I lived in Canada. I also would go to Detroit regularly, and I'd go Chicago. So yeah, I have an idea where it is. So it is the water park capital. It's also a football. You're near 2 football havens. I mean, you've got a lot of things that happen up there that a lot of people take for granted. because you don't think a lot of things happen in Wisconsin, and by and large they don't compared to like some other places. But
Right.
but yeah, no. I know where about you are. So yeah, you're about to enter the cold winter season with socks. Yeah, socks are going to be kind of a big thing for the winter. They generally are.
Although I guess the one good thing about my kids right now, we're only going to school 2 days a week. So it's this hybrid format. So half the alphabet goes 2 days and half the alphabet goes another 2 days. And then one day everyone's full remote. So there's less socks that people are wearing, if that is any consolation.
Right, socks and you know, and clothing becomes a lot more optional when it's just a family environment. Because really, you've seen it all, right?
Yep,
so
yep.
yeah, I get that. So how was it for you? Like, did you guys have you guys managed all right? Like, has it been relatively comfortable for you?
Yeah, Illinois, where I live, has been pretty locked down more than a lot of places than states around us. But you know, with it being summer, so I'm a little worried as we go into winter time. But with summertime, we were able to at least get outside. You know, you could ride bikes and do stuff. So the kids did as well as they could that way. Now it's going to get a little dicey here when we're not leaving the house because everyone's kind of in. You know, you can't get outside and just run around and explore.
No, I get you. So, but everybody's okay then. Beyond that, like, did you have to try your hands at teaching, or did you guys said,
Well, so it's e-learning. So, you know, what 7-year-old is equipped to get himself to Google Meets at certain times and sign on and be there? You might have been good at maps at 7, but I don't know if you were getting to meetings at 7. So it's kind of a partnership. Now the 2 in junior high do okay on their own, but for the most part, but it's pretty hands-on with the parents for the e-learning part of it. So they're synchronous 2 days a week, and then when they're asynchronous learning, that's like completely on your own when you kind of need a parent to jump in.
So it's been hard. It's been a little harder on you too then.
It's been interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Well, I do think it will get better next year, regardless of what happens. I mean, regardless of how, like, whether we're still in this or we're out of this, whatever the case may be. But I do think that it'll be better. So hopefully it'll be at least a little bit more space so everybody can breathe a little bit more.
Right. Just have some normal activities.
Yeah. Well, that'll come back. That will inevitably come back. But let's see here. So you're a big reader, heavy competitor. So how did you get involved in this? Like, obviously you weren't the designer or the programmer, but you were big into the marketing. Were you like the original like tester for the program? You just like, I want to like promote this, or how did that go?
You know, it's kind of a random story. So one of the founders, I've known him for over 20 years, which is funny because, you know, I'm only 25, right? But we have followed each other from job to job. And when he was founding this company, he was interested in me coming over. So that's how I became the third person to work on this. And we originally were working on going into the author niche and developing kind of like MailChimp for authors. And had this as like an extra little add-on, this design tool. And you know, life is funny where things take you, and the authors told us where they wanted us to go. And so we ended up it was really just a better fit to build out the design tool. And then we that became our focus. So we gave up the email marketing side of it and built that part out. So because I had worked with this person, the co-founder, at different jobs, this was just like an awesome fit. He's like, hey, come start this company with me. So then I did.
That's awesome. Yeah. So now you're in, and you guys seem to be growing. I mean, like, it's definitely a solid program. Like, no joke, I wouldn't be having you on this show if I didn't think the program wasn't good. So
well, thank you so much. We appreciate you giving it a try and having me come on to talk about it and stuff, because it's so much fun to like get it in front of new authors.
Yeah. All right. So let's pin you down here. Favorite book you've read that have used your program? Either design, you like the design, or you like the book?
So the favorite book that has used BookBrush?
Yeah.
I haven't read a lot of them, but man, I have some favorite covers. You see some and you're just like, ooh, that would look so good in all these different ads. So I like I like so many different things. So some of those romancy ones, although I don't read a lot of romance, they have really great colors in their covers. So I like a lot of those. But then I like to read the twisty, suspenseful things. And some of those covers really lend themselves to some really cool you could add like an overlay and have a cool background. So I'd like be hard pressed to pick. Oh, I've worked with so many covers. So a lot of times in a demo, like if I join like a author group, they'll give me a couple of their book covers from the group, and then I use those to personalize the demo. And it's so much fun because it gives me just like a new creative outlet each time to pick out the colors in there and then design ads that I'm just showing them how to use the system, but we're using it to advantage with the covers that they sent along for me to use.
Well, yeah, you're doing some of the work for them, which is cool. Yeah. But the other part is you get to have fun. Like you enjoy playing with the program. So the romance ones. Okay, now I'm going to ask the super duperest hard question of the interview. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
What's your favorite book to read? What's been your favorite book in the last year? You've read so many books this year. Which one really grabbed you?
Well, this wasn't even this year, but Before We Were Yours was one that sticks with me a lot. Have you read that one? So it kind of flips back and forth where, I'm trying to think if it was like in the 50s where people would kind of steal kids and put them up for adoption, only they had a family. The family was just poor. And so you followed these people. So there was each chapter is a different person and a different time. That one I really liked. Because it sticks with you. Like I still wonder about those people. They aren't even real.
Yeah, well, that's the best kind of stories. I mean, you don't always tell the whole story when you read a book. You just tell a story about those characters. That's why series are born. That's why like Kate Daniels exists with The Wheel of Time, or I'm a sci-fi guy ultimately, right? So, that's always where I tend to wander. Okay, I think we have a fun interview here. What do you think?
I think so. I love talking about books and Book Brush and all that stuff. I'm glad we finally made it work.
Yeah, I felt terrible. So, ladies and gentlemen, things just kept happening, and I was like, oh God, I haven't pushed this the way I should have. So I just finally, since I'm about to do this is about to become a talk show, a full-fledged talk show in which I'm interviewing people one-to-one all the time. I thought, you know what, I better get you in now. One, to get me familiar with my system going forward, but also two, just because, you're, we're overdue, and I still feel really terrible. It's been a weird year. I know I get that, but I still feel terrible. This took so long, so.
No problem at all. We were first trying for August, and then my kids had started just remote, and life was happening for you too. And so we just pivot each time, and it worked out. I think today was a good day for us.
Yes, excellent. So let's do this again one last time. Plug your product and how people can find you.
All right, so I'm Kathleen Sweeney with BookBrush, and the website is bookbrush.com, and it's a design tool specifically for authors. And what we've created is the easiest way for authors to create their own marketing images, all things social media, and even book covers too. Add video effects, creates that box set image. So you can give it a try. And I should mention, we even have a free plan. So you can sign up, no credit card required, at bookbrush.com. And you can use the tools to create and download 15 images for free. So you can really get in there and get a feel for how would it work? How would this look for my stuff? Do I like it? Before you would need to, upgrade to a paid plan. Then the paid plans have tiers, but all of them have unlimited number of downloads. So you can create as many marketing images or covers or whatever it is that you need. So it's just a handy tool to have in an author's marketing toolbox. It has all the things that you need.
Excellent. So where can people find this tool?
It's a website, and it's just bookbrush.com. Nice and easy. You can jump in there. So you don't download anything except for just the images that you create. It's all web-based.
All right. And how can people find you? Do you have your own what contact information? After all, you are a marketer. You do like the books and stuff. So
We have a contact form on there, and it has a picture of me, so you'll know it's me. I'm usually the one that answers those. You can also follow us on Instagram at BookBrush for Authors, and we post daily. Usually, it's something that you can create in BookBrush or a blog post link, things like that. So it can give you some inspiration if you're wondering what our images look like. You could follow us there. And then on Facebook, we are on there, a BookBrush page. And we have a private Facebook group, which is nice. So authors can give each other feedback in there.
All right.
I love how helpful authors are to each other. Folks will ask a question in there, and before I even get in there to answer, other authors have hopped in and given advice and help. It's the author community is awesome.
Well, it's ultimately because this is going to sound counterintuitive to a lot of people in other businesses, but we're not actually really competing against each other. Demand for content is infinite, and something I said earlier does apply. If you really sit there and think about it, the same story is told over and over and over again. What everybody offers is their own way of telling it. That's what you're actually creating, is your own experience. So everything that you're doing is about to maximize that experience. And other authors don't. I mean, I'm sure there are moments where authors are like, "Dang, I wish I thought about that. Thought of doing it that way." But at the same time, right? At the same time, it's one of those situations. Is you'll make me better because this is out there now. It's a ladder for me to climb too. At least that's how I look at it anyway.
I think so too. There's no limit. It's not like there's just this one story to tell and someone already told it and you're done. It's unlimited.
Yeah. I mean, it's true linear. I mean, music is basically defined on my girlfriend is awesome or my girlfriend is a nightmare. Depending on the song, that's the majority of them. And you know what? They all still work because it works for all of us.
Very true.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this. If you want to support this channel, you can subscribe to it, Joshua Pantellaresco. I am on Patreon as well, patreon.com/justjoshingpodcast. Links in the description below. And also there will be a link to BookBrush as well. So if you guys want to try the program, you can do so yourself. I want to thank Kathleen for coming on the show. Take care of yourselves. Stay inspired. Just keep surfing through this chaos. We'll get through on the other side before you know it.